for Eric Berry, one of the great Chiefs of the last 10 years.
All right, finally, there was an ugly incident in last night's Thunder Jazz game out in Utah. Russell Westbrook got into a heated verbal altercation with a Jazz fan. Here's the incident and Russ's explanation after the game.
How it started was a young man and his wife in the stands told me to get down on my knees like he used to. And for me, that's just completely disrespectful to me. I think it's racial. I think it's just inappropriate in the sense of there's no protection for the players. I think there are a lot of great fans around the world that like to come to the game and enjoy the game. And there are people that come to the game and to say mean, disrespectful things about me, my family. For many years, man, I've done all the right things. I've never done anything to hurt or harm anybody. I've never been in any trouble. Never fought a fan. Been in the league 11 years. Clean slate. Humble. I take all the criticism from everybody. I've been doing the same thing for years. And for me, disrespect will not be taken from me. I'm completely just sit back sometime and just take it like that. That's just one video, but throughout the whole game, since I've been here, especially here in Utah, every time I come here, it's a lot of disrespectful things I said. And for me, I'm just not going to continue to take the disrespect from my family. I just think that there's got to be something done. There's got to be some consequences for those type of people that come to the game just to say and do whatever they want to say. And I don't think it's fair to the players, not just to me, but I don't think it's fair to the players. And if I had to do it over again, I would say the same exact thing because I truly will stand up for myself, for my family, for my kids, for my wife, for my mom, for my dad every single time. I expect anybody else to do the same. So that's kind of where I'm at with the whole situation.
CC, what'd you make of how that all played out?
Well, it's very difficult to understand what was the whole exchange with the fan, the husband-wife couple, what they actually said to Russ. And through my experience in the NBA and the NFL, and of course, I know the NBA is totally different than the NFL, but I was a season ticket holder for the Miami Heat within the first 5 rows for over 20 years. So I've been to a number of basketball games throughout my life. I love the NBA. It's my favorite sport. It's my favorite sport to watch in person because the convenience of it and how close you can get. But my experience has been changed because the NFL did a great job for a number of years. And they used to bring in an acting company with real actors and everything. And we used to play out all these different scenarios, either in the game, socially, with your family, leaving the game, driving your car, being intoxicated, potentially drugs in the car, things like that. And we would go over all these different scenarios of how we would react in that situation. And in that situation, I wish Russ would have asked the gentleman to repeat it, because then it would have became more clear. Because sometimes in the yelling and the screaming, did I actually hear something or did I want to hear something else? So for me, it becomes an issue with Russ. Yes, he should speak up. They should be protected in a certain type of way because people shouldn't be able just to say anything to you as a professional athlete. But Russ should know also, when you go to Utah, you're going to get a little extra. It's one of the worst visiting places there and a couple more around the league, and it's been that way for a long time. So Russ is not being targeted. Utah has been a long place. Michael Jordan used to hate going to Utah. He used to say he loved going there, but the battle between the fans and the players, it's something real. Washington was real bad for a number of years. They had a guy that was a professional heckler. I don't like to see it. It was not a good look. But for me, I wasn't clear on everything that was said to Russ? Like, what did Russ actually hear?
And you mentioned, we should just say it's because the fan disagreed and said he said something else, so you're saying repeat
it. The fan disputed it. The fan also reportedly this morning has erased his Twitter account after people found some very vulgar tweets sent about Russell Westbrook from his alleged Twitter account. The fan also, Russ is right about the fact he's got a decade plus in this league of very good behavior. And the fan is alleging he said to him, ice your knees. And that's what set Russ off. I know who I believe in this situation, but listen, Russ shouldn't have said the part about when he said, I'll bleep you up. He shouldn't have included his wife in that. Like, I think that takes it to a whole different level, and Russ addressed that as well. It's like, listen, I've never been involved in any domestic violence incident. I'd never do anything like that.
So you think he actually said, get on your knees?
Yes, I am. Obviously, I wasn't there.
I mean, we don't know.
We don't know. But if I had to bet money, I would bet a lot of money on that side of the ledger. And you mentioned Utah. J.R. Smith, a couple years ago, comes out and says, they said, how hard is it to shoot free throws in the NBA when everyone's yelling? He's like, that's not hard. What's hard is when we're in Utah and they're calling you the N-word. We have heard from countless players that this arena and this organization, if you will, allows fans a certain level of dispensation. There is an extra racial dynamic because the city of Salt Lake City is so overwhelmingly white. It's almost an entirely white crowd. And we know the racial dynamics of the NBA. And I think the NBA has to do better by their players. Russell Westbrook has been an exemplary citizen, father, husband, teammate, his whole career. He shouldn't be subjected to that. And now, could he have handled it better? Sure. But I don't know how, when your adrenaline's up, when you are at the peak of competition, when you get yourself as hyped up as Russ gets, and then you've got some grown man saying, this wasn't some kid saying this to you. Like, and so Russ could have handled it slightly better, but he's not the one that should be embarrassed here. That fan's the one who should be embarrassed here. And the NBA needs to, you can have a home court advantage without homophobic, racist, and threatening tones. We got a lot of arenas around the NBA that have a home court advantage that you don't hear from constant players every few months about what happens in Utah. Like, that is the reality of that city. Like, we know in the NFL, the black hole in Oakland, you go there, you might smell a little marijuana in the air. Like
what is the responsibility of the league? What are their options?
Have a zero
what does that look like?
To treat fans that use those types of threats or slurs the way Jim Dolan treats fans that say sell the team. Right. Banned for life.
How do you prove it, though? How do you prove that? When, say, we are there, how do they prove that he said what he said?
I think they could, in my opinion, I think you could spend a little extra money, have a little extra security force around the courtside area, and you could have ears on it. You could have ears on it, you could have eyes on it.
You can't have security around the court area when they're playing. They were actually playing the game.
No, I understand. You could have guys, I guess.
They do have extra security in the NBA, in the timeouts and everything. So you can police it a lot better. Every NBA city, right now, when they go to timeout, man, they have a core of people that have the court surrounded. But there is time. They are fans, and fans can say basically almost anything they want to. It's been the history of sports. They should be able to police it a little bit, but it's very, very difficult when you're talking about what did he say, what did I hear? Because sometimes it's very, very different. I'm not talking about what happened in Russ's case.
In general,
I'm talking about going to games and people being misunderstood, trying to yell something, people being intoxicated. NBA players should feel safe. Now, Russ, there wasn't a safety issue in this. He wasn't threatened like they were going to come do something to him. So for me, I think that Russ could have handled it a little bit different. And if someone said something derogatory like that, he should have gone to security and had the person removed immediately. Like, if someone said something derogatory to me, I'm a little better with my tongue than Russ. Like, I would have got the guy told in a different type of way. Because, look, you're here, you're spending your hard-earned money. I'm out here playing, making millions. Who's the fool? And your wife, would she really rather be with you, fat, tubby, or be with me? Right. That's what I do. I get them to shut up that way. I say something that I know could cut them. You're right. You get something that'll affect them. But you weren't a professional trash talker, but you knew how to do it. That's not Russ's game. It should be noted, by the way, while the fan said you got 41 games. He's been in the league long enough. He's been on the road. He knows there's 41 road games. He knows he's one of the best players in the league, former MVP. He knows they're coming after him. So he can't have rabbit ears everywhere he goes either. That's part of his responsibility.
Patrick Patterson, who was on the bench alongside Russ, tweeted, I think independent of Russ's comments, that he heard the exact quote that Russ is saying he heard. And Russ's reaction to me speaks for itself.
All right, we're going to take a break there. Coming up, what's the best fit for Le'Veon Bell? That's next on First Things First.